Hello everyone and welcome to Trail Tracker, where today we're out doing a little experiment to see what sort of massive adventure you could have with a whopping 1125 watt hours of battery. Now this isn't the first time I've done a range test on the channel. In fact, I actually did a 625 watt hour one with my Orbea Wild FS. So if you're interested in checking that one out, I'll put a link at the top of the screen. Today we're changing things up a bit though, because the very nice people at Mway have kindly lent me a Haibike Fullnine fully equipped with range extender. Why don't you ruin my shot? How are they supposed to hear me when you're barking? Yeah. Didn't sound very friendly now, did he? Based on the results of the last test, I reckon we're good for at least 2,500 meters of climbing. So I've planned myself a 75 kilometer, 2,500 meter ride that most importantly ends at a higher elevation than home. Because pedaling an e-bike up the hill without the motor is something I would definitely rather avoid. And if you want to know why, check out the link at the top of the screen. Just like the last test, I'm going to stick to a couple of ground rules this time around as well. Firstly, I'm going to ride as much as possible in tour mode and only use EMTB if there is no alternative. Just like right here. I've never made it up here, but it's always worth a bash. This is the bit. Here we are, top of the first hill. Probably done over 600 meters of climbing, and the bike says that the battery is still full. I guess you can do the sums for yourself. If I'm going to get 600 meters of climbing at least out of every 20% of the battery, I'm going to be doing a lot more than 2,500 meters. Well, let's not worry too much about how far we're going to go. Let's go and enjoy a bit of downhill. Down the first descent, started my second climb, and we finally dropped 1 bar on the battery. Now the Haibike that I'm on today does have the exact same Bosch CX performance motor as my Wild FS. It does, however, have one fundamental difference that could make a massive difference to the range. And that is, this bike runs Schwalbe Knobby Nick tyres, which run much faster than the Maxxis Minions that I have on the Orbea. There we go, another hill conquered. Time for a little bit of downhill. While the Knobby Nick tyres might well give me extra range, I'm definitely not as comfortable or confident with them as I am with something that's a little bit beefier and burlier, especially under braking with this extra weight of the additional battery. Now that's an interesting development. The battery's just gone down to 3 bars, but I am convinced I haven't done the same amount with the second bar as I did with the first bar. Oh well, I'll have to check when I get home to be sure. No, onward and upward. So, something that's worth considering if you're thinking of using my little experiment as a reference for yourself is that I am no lightweight. In fact, there's a full 90 kilos of me plus equipment. So if you're 10 or maybe even 20 kilos lighter than me, you'll probably get a lot further. Oops. Okay, down to 2 bars, And I'm guessing I've done, I don't know, about 1700 meters of climbing. Almost near the top of the next one. Let's get up there, see where we're at, and make a plan. There we go, 1800 meters. Reason to celebrate. Cheers. Something else you should consider is that where I live, you're only ever traveling in one of two directions. Up or down. Which means, no matter how fast this feels right now, a lot of people are going to be travelling at a much higher average speed over a much longer distance. So I have to say, I've kind of got used to that extra weight now, and bike's riding quite nice. Back down in the valley now, and I have had a little chance to think, and I've got a suspicion that I'm probably going to go close to 2,800 meter climbing. So before I head up to all the trails on the side of the valley where I live, I think I'm going to throw in another loop on the other side of the valley to try and keep me above home when the battery finally runs out. Okay, here we are, just under the highest point on the extra loop that I decided to do, and after 63 kilometers we're finally down to 1 bar or 20% of the battery. So there's a little bit of range anxiety starting to creep in now, and I'll be honest, I would really like to be able to have my kiosk display and see how much battery is left as a percentage, rather than just having to guess at a number between 0 and 20. Well, I'm really in two minds about what to do at the moment. Do I do a little bit more climbing on this side of the valley, and then does that mean I run out above home? Or should I just go straight back over to the other side? Decisions. Right, I think I've come to a decision. We're going all in and taking the riskiest option that will enable me to actually go and ride my favourite trail behind home. It's going to take me a little bit further away, and I'm going to be a bit exposed if the battery runs out at the wrong moment, but I'm going to give it a go. Oh well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Here comes the battery sapping single track climb. Trees over the trail don't help either. This bike with the range extender is extremely heavy. That's it. Didn't even get close. I have no idea how many meters that is now. Probably less than I thought. Well, I'm quite glad it ran out when it did. I don't know, another 500 meters and I would have got properly stuffed. It would have run out at exactly the wrong moment. Good news is though, I can roll downhill to home from here. I have to say, all in all, whichever way you look at it, it's pretty amazing. That is by far the biggest tour I've ever done of my home trails, and I dare say it'll probably be one of the last times as well. But if you're looking for a way of just getting that little extra bit of range out of your bike for a big tour in the mountains, it's got to be worth looking at. I would say, however, get yourself a kiosk display. It takes all that guesswork out of what's going on, and if you're going for a long tour, it gives you the option to knock it back into eco or even switch it off at times. Just much better for managing your battery. Thanks for coming along, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.